Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, with my Munchkin bestie, fresh from Deutschland, Zerlin Meyer-Eller. And instead of doing some sort of endless discussion of the depressing world of the record universe, actually, this is going to be a discussion about the depressing world of the record universe, but with musical examples, which will cheer us up in the midst of our depression. The depressing question we're dealing with is, why don't people play Haydn's overtures? Yes, he wrote overtures. He wrote lots of them because he wrote lots of operas and oratorios and things. I mean, I have 2 discs of them. They're both very good. One on Naxos, on normal instruments, featuring Michael Halász, actually, right, in Hungarian, with the Czech Chamber Philharmonic Orchestra of Pardibice.
Pardubice.
Pardubi-tubi. Pubi-dubi, Parbi-dubi. Pardubice.
It's a small town near Prague.
You've been there?
I've been there.
Okay,
yes.
So there you go. So we're going to have fresh from Pardubice. And then we have this one on Bis, which was originally on Koch. And they took it over with the Haydn Sinfonietta Wien and Manfred Huss. Now, this is 2 CDs, this is 1, but this has more stuff. This gives you all of his opera overtures, basically. This includes the 2 overtures without any kind of name. They're just called overtures, including one of which is the extra finale, one of the extra finales, to the Symphony No. 53, Imperiale. And you also get the overtures and preludes to the 2 big oratorios and the other oratorio, Il Ritorno di Tobia, and things like that. Some other theatrical, well, non-theatrical, but other works where he wrote instrumental preludes. So that's all in here. The difference is, I think, 14 tracks and 22 tracks, something like that. So,
play the music.
We have examples, but it's not just playing the music. Well, yeah, let's start with something. Let's start with something wonderful. This is the overture to La Fedeltà Premiata, which is Fidelity Rewarded, one of his operas, the overture to which you may recognize, if you're a Haydn person anyway. Have a listen. Now, do you know that? That's better known as the finale to Symphony No. 73, La Chasse, The Hunt. And hunt music it is. Haydn wrote fabulous hunting music. You know, there's the amazing hunting chorus and in the Seasons, and there's all kinds of hunting pieces. There's one in the Philosopher Symphony, I think. Oh, it's just great. So, I mean, that's a typical Haydn overture, and it's lovely. And what's fascinating to me about this, well, what's fascinating about this to you? Nothing. Right?
No.
We don't want dead spots. No. You got to say something.
No.
You don't think it's fascinating?
Yes, Haydn is always fascinating, of course.
I mean,
the way he handles the music, the way he handles his ideas. He was full of ideas. He had so many ideas that he felt tortured by them, actually, and he could do quasi anything he wanted to with it. You know, I mean, fascinating. I don't know any really boring piece by Haydn, I must say. I mean, the baritone trios may not be the epitome of
thrillingness,
yes, but I mean, compared to what he left for us, everything is just wonderful.
And of course, being an authentic German guy.
Yeah,
Buddy,
but
here-
Haydn was Austrian.
Yeah, I know, but he was tortured. That's the point. The key word in that description was torture.
Yeah, please.
It was the torture that brings us the joy that is Haydn.
Haydn was Catholic. I mean, it was not Protestant. He was not Bach. Okay.
Okay, so he wasn't tortured that way. He was
No,
tortured in other ways.
He felt.
He
you know,
felt tortured. Of course he felt
that
tortured.
he was tortured by his ideas.
He had to be tortured. Those ideas, they were just torturing the poor guy. Oh, yes. And,
Yeah, but he had so many. I mean,
No, he
it's
did.
unbelievable, and it's never, ever he repeats himself.
But part of the point isn't just that he had them, but he knew what to do with them.
Yes.
It's how he works with them. It's how he deploys them in the service of really entertaining forms. And some of these overtures are really little symphonies. You know, we're used to, you know, Mozart's opera overtures or Beethoven's, which are, you know, single movement sonata form things by and large. But Mozart's earlier overtures as well, and a lot of Haydn's are actually closer to the Baroque overture format or suite format, where you have an allegro, a slow movement, a minuet, and then a return to the allegro. I mean, one of those, for example, is the overture to his opera L'Isola Disabitata, the deserted island, the desert island, which is a text by Metastasio, the great Baroque opera seria poet. And it's set as a Gluckian opera seria almost thing, where, you know, it's complete music, no unaccompanied recitatives with harpsichords and things like that. It's sung all the way through. It's only for 4 characters. It's only about an hour and a half long. It's wonderful. And it has a fabulous Sturm und Drang-ish overture that begins with a slow movement, then there's an allegro, then there's a minuet type thing, a grazioso section. You know, you mentioned you liked the graziosos.
Always Haydn's graziosos are always very gracious.
Yes, they're not tortured.
Very wonderful.
They're just gracieux. You see, you can do it if you try. Anyway, and then the furious allegro comes back at the very end, just to wrap it up. So here is the wrap up from the overture to L'Isola Disabitata. I mean, it's great. It's just great, isn't it? It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. We've got another one here, too. What have we got here? Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. L'Incontro Improviso. The Improvised Encounter. Now, this was a libretto that Gluck also set. The same story, and it's also the same story as Mozart's The Abduction from the Seraglio. And because it's a Turkish
Opera, which was in fashion back then.
way in fashion after the siege of Vienna in 16 whatever, when it was almost conquered by the Ottomans. Turkish music was all the rage. Turkish music meaning it has cymbals and bass drum and triangles and other percussive sounds. And this overture has that, as does the opera, which is extremely funny and charming and full of color and life. And here's a little bit of that sucker. Now, again, this is a multi-movement overture, and that's the conclusion. However, now we're getting to the juicy bit.
The question is, why aren't any of these overtures ever performed in the concert hall?
Yeah, why not?
Why is it only on CD?
Yeah, why?
Why?
And beyond that, what makes it all the more absurd is that, okay, you may not like Haydn's operas. You may not be able to produce them because they have their impracticalities. They were written specifically for Esterhazy for the most part, the big ones. And even Haydn refused to write operas for other places and refused to allow his Esterhazy operas to be produced elsewhere. Some of them he really cared about, but most of them he said were too limited by local circumstances. And okay, let's accept that. Let's just accept that as given. I think some of them are marvelous, and I know some of you do too. But let's accept that as given. No one argues about the fact that Haydn was one of the absolute supreme masters of the classical orchestra and classical orchestral music. And if you don't want to do a symphony, a whole big long symphony, why not do one of the damn overtures? I mean, there's 14 of these suckers on this disc and 22 on this disc. And Haydn was proud of some of them. He truly was. He prepared some of them and offered them to his publisher, Artaria, I think it was, a stack of them. And, as finished works suitable for independent performance. And if Haydn could do it, why can't we?
Don't ask me. Why not stage an opera?
Well, yes, but that's expensive.
Il Mondo della Luna. Well, yes, of course. But Haydn is still a name, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
at least for smaller stages, maybe?
You think part of it is just the availability of parts and publications?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have I have a lot of the Haydn Critical Edition. I have the operas, but I don't know about whether or not you can get collections of the overtures independent of the operas. I have to look into that.
Well, maybe there must be performance material.
Yeah, I mean, there must be performance material because here it is. It's like right here on this disc. They've done it. And it's just some slamming stuff. Any last words?
Nope.
Nope.
You do this.
Okay. Your natural eloquence is oozing out of your pores here. Anyway, I have to thank my dear friend really for doing these with me. I mean, it really was a generous offer. In fact, as a reward for doing these with me, I'm going to allow him to unpack about 50 boxes of books that I still have in the basement.
With the performance material.
With the performance materials, yes, of course. No, but seriously, it's an interesting question. These are lovely performances on Naxos and on Bis, and you should look for them if you like your Haydn. And if you want to hear just a terrific disc of wonderful, mature, finished, perfect classical music. And you get through them all. Well, the longest one is 8 minutes. The shortest is like 3 to 4. What's not to love?
Nothing.
Exactly. Nothing. You heard it here from the Oracle of Truth. There is nothing not to love in this music. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So keep on listening, friends, and thank you so much, Søren, for putting up with me and me forcing you to do this. And have a safe trip home. Unfortunately, he will be leaving me all too soon, and I hope it won't be for long, because he's a treasure, as you can see.
Thank you.
Take care, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.